share that. So yeah, welcome to the Pleasure Empowerment, the 30 days of self-love, and that's the info call. So yeah, I hope that some of the questions will be clarified in my small PowerPoint. And yeah, if there is some more questions, there will be after this little info block the possibility to also ask them in the chat, but also unmute yourself. Unfortunately, I just see that I cannot see myself or the chat. So yeah, just that you know that I might not be able to directly respond. Maybe I can still figure that out, but yeah. So about me, my name is Janina. My pronouns are she, her. I'm an intimacy coach and a sexual counselor in education. I'm a sex educator since 2018 and a workshop facilitator also since 2019. I give regular workshops on festivals all around Europe, but now since a year in Vienna on a regular base. Yeah, I'm very passionate about sex positivity and consent, and yeah, doing a lot of sex education, especially on consent and safer sex. So yeah, my values, or what I really prioritize, is inclusivity, the inclusion of people of all sexual orientations and gender, and also that the events are accessible. So on one side, on the money, so I often offer on donation base or with a big sliding scale, and I really try that my workshops are in venues that are wheelchair accessible or have very low barriers. And yeah, this online program or practice is also again on donation base. I must make a break because I cannot see you, and that really disturbs me. So I will try to adapt that. I'm really sorry. I'm not yet sure how I will do that. I'm really sorry, because if I can see you, I cannot see the questions in the chat. Yeah, I'm really sorry for that. I tried to make that. Okay, you cannot see the slideshow. Okay, that is not good. So nobody could see the slideshow till now? Oh, yeah. Okay, then I will. No. Okay, damn. Thank you for bearing with me. Okay. Then let's see it like this. Okay, now you can see my screen, and now you can see the slideshow. And I can still not see the chat. Sorry. Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Then I will. Yeah. You didn't miss anything. Just the first slide. And okay. So I will continue, and I see your little signs up and come down. So if something is up, you can really let me know by the hand signs. Thank you. So yeah, I'm, as I already said, intimacy coach. What I'm currently in training, so I'm training as a sexual counselor with the sexocorporel method. That is very well, it's established in sexual therapy and sexual medicine, and also training actually since quite a while in sexological bodywork. And I'm in the final stage where I'm actually offering a lot of sessions, but I did already finish like the theoretic part, and very happy to get supervision for all my cases currently. And since 2018, you can see I did a lot of different trainings around sexuality, and also, yeah, made a lot of sex positive festival and created workshops where people could experience and have pleasure or experience pleasure. So these 30 days of self-love are really also coming out of the idea that people very much enjoyed the self-love workshops, but also wanted to, or had difficulties, or shared with me that they had difficulties in including that in their everyday life. And so the idea is now to, yeah, give inspirations and ideas and also motivate each other. So as you saw, there is a Telegram group, and also now I activated a sharing circle in that Telegram group. I will later show how you can actually access this chat group. So in these shared spaces, so the one channel where I will post the assignments, you cannot write in there, but for those where you can actually share, just make sure that you want to enter them, because it can be that you prefer to not be in spaces where other people could write you. So in these spaces where interaction can happen, please make sure that whatever a member shares stays in the group and confidential. Please do not share about who is with you in that group, especially because just that person is in the group doesn't mean that the person is taking part in the 30 days of self-love. As you saw, it's a very low-key invitation policy, and you do not need to commit. Very important, please don't assume anyone's gender or anyone's sexual orientation, and really use gender neutral language or address the person with the right pronouns. Consent, so we all have very individual boundaries. We will not meet in a physical space, and also today the participant interactions will be quite limited, but still do not share any explicit pictures or possibly triggering or activating images or text. Then for the private messages, so as this journey is really one about yourself, I really invite you to not write private messages to other people except you're already connected with them and know them personally. So this platform or this group is not intended for dating purposes. I have another one for people from Vienna that is called Slut Circle, that is also open, where you can definitely also connect with others. But for this group, I decided to really make it actually not okay to message people in a private message. So if you would receive a private message, I would really invite you to tell me about it, and I would either remove that person, or if you don't want that, talk with the person and make them understand that this is a not okay behavior. There is no tolerance for harassment, for discrimination, bullying based on gender, race, sexual orientations. So basically, we don't allow any isms. That group, the sharing group of it, is really there for encouraging each other, offering support, for sharing whatever feelings are coming up. It can be positive feelings where you want to be celebrated or celebrate yourself, but it can also be challenging sharings. You can do that via text or via voice message. And every participation is optional, so you can also just stay in the channel where the assignments are posted. And also every assignment is really just, how to say, an inspiration, an invitation, but you can always adapt it to your own needs and to your own creativity. I just want to mention, promote, will also not post my other workshops. I'm very good in spam groups. Please don't make some advertising in these groups. And stay on the topic related to self-love and pleasure, and maybe also sometimes the daily inspirations are bringing up different topics. That's also fully okay. If you have any issues in the group, or you need anything, you can always contact me. you can find, you can write me via Telegram or via email. So, and yeah, if there is any questions while I'm talking, I'm now seeing the chat. So yeah. So yeah, accountability and feedback. So for my sexological bodywork sessions, if you are working with me, there's also the possibility to reach out to my training, the ESB, the Training Institute. But for this self-love journey, I only have like a feedback form where you can also anonymously give me feedback, but you can also reach out to me directly. I really welcome feedback, and for me it's really a gift and I can grow from it. So I definitely encourage you to bring it to me. But yeah, if it's needed that we need a third party, I can definitely also get someone, pay someone to do that. Yeah. So now finally the part where it's about the embodied self-love journey. So the self-love journey is more a solo practice. There's some people who might live with a partner, who might spend a lot of time with a partner, so it's possible to do it next to your partner, but it's important to just engage with yourself and to not touch each other. It can be after the practice that you may want to share sexuality or sensuality, but during this practice, it's really actually invited to just touch yourself and be focused with yourself. So ideally, you would have a place where you can move freely. You can do it in your bed, but I actually recommend rather having a space that is a bit more firm, like on the ground or on a yoga mat. And that journey or every daily assignment would always invite you to explore your body, and mainly through your breath, your voice, through movement and touch. And at least for me, when I engage in a let's say less mindful self-pleasuring or masturbation, I go very quickly to my genitals, and it like it has an arousal curve, or it's going quite quick because I do know how to pleasure myself for an orgasm, but my lust is not very high. And so here the idea is to really invite your entire body as a source of pleasure, and to rediscover and re-invite your body to feel pleasure. I recently described to someone that when I was young, I had a lot of more erogenous zones in my body, and that I kind of lost them. So for example, one was on the hips or my nipples, and that through this more conscious mindful practice, I could, by touching that area more and more, re-bring some feeling into the tissues, and also gaining more lust again from these areas that had feeling more numb. So this is something that I will also talk later. What the practice really benefits is to be able to use the whole body as a source of pleasure, rather than sometimes certain areas that we already know very well. So yeah, on the topic of orgasms, so I use the word self-love because I find it a bit, so you could also say self-pleasuring, or you could also say masturbation. But the problem is with masturbation that most people always understand masturbation with a stimulation of the genitals. And the self-love practice is really inviting you to see your whole body as an area of pleasure. So orgasms are invited, so it's fully okay if that's a goal for you, or that it's happening, but it should not be like your main goal. And it definitely is more the intention of bringing joy and pleasure, and yeah, it can have a release, but you will see towards the 30 days that there's a lot of different releases and a lot of different practices that can bring a big sense of relaxation and calmness Yeah, and also to remember that some people, it's easy to reach an orgasm, and for some not, or less. And so to also see, yeah, whatever person you are, so the more you will see what might be also your focus in the practices and what maybe less. And yeah, if there is questions, well, that's double. No? Yeah. So just to mention the origins and the sources, on the website you find also a fuller content of the sources and also the links. But I call it self-love because, yeah, orgasmic yoga is from the school where I learned, from the sexological bodywork training. There it's from Joseph Kramer, who founded this method with other pioneers on sexuality and embodiment. And I'm currently learning at the Sexological Bodywork Institute in Berlin. And so the main texts are really inspired by my teachers, Nino, Maren, and Juliette, who them also are currently doing a self-love online course with really good content. So I will definitely post that when it's ready. And just really want to mention that I definitely, yeah, did not write most of these texts, but also rewrote things. And the daily assignments will be inspired of some of Joseph Kramer work. I will also post their 30 days in our group, but I will also change a lot, but because for me, some things are also a bit, how to say, older, or have a very spiritual flair, and I prefer to have a more, how to say, different angle, and everyone can bring in the angle that they need, but I would use some more neutral language. Yeah, so why this practice? So I have done it 2 times in my training, because it's like the first thing that we have to do is 30 days of self-love. And it showed that for me to practice every day a more conscious form of embodiment, of dance, of movement with my body, really made me feel way better in my body, and also enhanced my lust. So I used to think that I should not pleasure myself, because then I have less lust for sex with partners. And I figured out that by, how to say, giving myself the pleasure and stimulating myself, I could definitely enhance and even gain more pleasure also in partnered sexuality. So this idea of if you pleasure yourself, you then have less lust for your partners, is definitely a myth. And so when you are working with your own body, it definitely creates a positive feedback loop, and desire and lust is definitely, at least in my body, way more present also towards the day. Sexual energy is not only like down there, but it's very much connected to also the feeling of aliveness, and can really also influence the whole life in a positive way. For some people, this practice might also bring up hesitation, fears, shame, and that's really normal. So like, we are in my course 30 people, and a lot of us also really struggled, especially in the first days. And it showed that at the end, more and more people had really found also more enthusiasm, a feeling of connectiveness to their own body, more creativity, and desire. So if you have any struggles to start, but also when struggles are coming up, you are always very, very welcome to reach out to me via Telegram. And yeah, if it would be needed, we can also definitely schedule a Zoom call. Yeah, so I really can very much recommend, but yeah, I wouldn't do a 30 days practice if I wouldn't be super convinced how valuable self-love can be. But yeah, I also on the website put even more things why it is really very helpful for the body to make these connections. So by repeating it 30 days, your brain can really make these new connections and yeah, reconnect with or can, I'm really bad explaining that. I put it on the website, it's neuroplasticity, and it's by daily repetition, there can be new neural pathways, and so the brain can change and can get better in, for example, feeling more intensely or getting quicker into lust and pleasure, and it can really also intensify the feelings. That's the most difficult English words I use now. Yeah, as you saw, I'm not a native English speaker. So yeah, I will post in the group daily assignments, and they will mostly be in part of texts, and sometimes I will also provide some videos, maybe some inspiration, some movements that you can try out, and you are always really welcome to adapt them to your body, to whatever you are comfortable to do. Ideally, you make 30 minutes every day. But I can also, so as I wrote, it's really optional. You can leave out a day if it's not possible, but sometimes it can help to have a challenge of staying 30 days on it. For me, at least, this is something that really can motivate me. So yeah, try if it's possible. Yeah, as I already said, I really recommend a solid surface, and also maybe starting clothed and then or removing clothes bit by bit. So at the beginning, you can feel really comfortable and warm. So the goal of the practice is really to involve your whole body and not just the genitals. It's really to be brave and try out different breathing breaths. So going into breath work, inviting your voice. So there will definitely be assignments where I will invite you to use the vocals to see how is the sound going through your neck, and how is it feeling in your chest, and also to work with movements, maybe a form of dance. You can also include movements of yoga or other things. And the objective is really to move sexual energy towards your whole body and to really rediscover sexual energy and to spread it. Yeah. If there is questions, you're really welcome to post them in the group, in the chat. So yeah, as props, some daily inspirations will definitely have suggestions, but what I really love to have in my next to my bed is some feathers, especially to start and bring my body into a very soft and sensitive way of feeling. Another thing can also be to have fluggers. So if you want to wake up your body with some gentle stimulation, or even you can use plants or flowers. Some people really like some essential oils or candles that have an incense, a smell. Maybe sometimes blindfold can be helpful to focus more on yourself. Coconut oil or any other kind of massage oil can be very relaxing and connecting to oneself, and also giving your body some nice feeling. So yeah, whatever you maybe also already use in your everyday, you can bring it in. So what every self-love practice every day should have, and that's actually really essential, it's that you are setting an intention before every practice. So an intention can be something like, I want to rediscover my whole body. Or it's just an idea where you would love to go, or a sentence, a word that can support you. And also giving you afterwards an idea, did I stayed with my intention, or did I wandered off? And that's also sometimes okay. But set yourself an intention. It will really support yourself. And then a clear beginning and the end. So set yourself a timer or make a playlist so that you know when the 30 or 40 minutes are over. Because at least I tend to, with my neurodivergent brain, think that 30 minutes are already over since long time. And sometimes I'm really stuck that it's only 15 minutes. So really make sure that you have a good idea how long you want to have this practice today. And I recommend to not have less than 15 minutes. So if you're someone that usually touches themselves very short, really try to make more time and challenge yourself, especially if you are using sex toys or in general coming very quickly, really try to wake up your whole body and really stimulate your whole body before going to the genitals, and really extend your self-pleasuring. So it can help. I mean, the inspirations will already give a form of structure, but maybe if you have things that you want to try out or add on from another inspirational day, I really recommend you to already think about it before, so that while the practice, you're not getting distracted. Also really try out different forms of breath work. So I will also post some videos of different breathing styles that you can do. And they can really also support in how much we are getting into a form of arousal. Self-touch, I mean, that's more a can have, but you can touch yourself. You can also do meditations where you are not touching yourself. But in general, self-love is a very body-based and touch-based approach. So at a certain point, you might want to also touch yourself. One thing that is missing in here, and I will add it afterwards, is at the end, it's really important to lay 5 minutes still. So it's really important to then lay and integrate the experience. Maybe you want to rethink about your practice. So that's one of the essentials. And then what you can have is you can make yourself a playlist or use one of my playlists. You can use toys or any other things that are stimulating your genitals, but it's really not necessary, or at least for me, one of my intentions for this whole 30 days will be to not use sex toys, because I'm someone that is very addicted to them. But I will also show afterwards some sex toys that are really, that I love and use in my regular self-love practice. And genital touch is genital touch and anal play is really invited, but also don't have to be every time. And in the Sexologically Bodywork 30 days, we are also invited on one day to try out to have a witness. So asking someone if they would like to witness us. There I will also give more information on that, but that will be to definitely a later point and very optional. I saw there is a question. So can you practice the next day if you miss the day, or should you then skip the day? So I would recommend to do 30 days in total. So meaning if you have only time every second day, then I would recommend to do 60 days of self-love. But I also know that not everyone has that that time in their life. So you are deciding really how you want to do it. I can just recommend to do it daily or every second day if it's not possible differently. Also, the exercises and the inspirations are not really building up on each other. So you can also definitely skip one if it's not fitting your needs, or just go with whatever you feel doing. It's more of doing it as regular as possible so that your body are experiencing how it is to really do a lot of embodiment and somatic work on once. Because if we leave too much space in between, then the effects might not be so clear to see. Where will the assignments be posted? So I will definitely post them in this Telegram channel. I will also do an own page where I will repost them, and I think it will be also easier to link some videos there. How can you reach me? So you can reach me through the email address, but also on Telegram via @pleasureempowerment. Yeah, so there is some more things. Then it can really, there can be challenging feelings, but also sensations coming up, especially if you have experienced trauma. So the feeling of feeling frozen or numb or restricted. So if that come up, I will also share a part of my trauma talk in the group in the coming days, where you can get more information on how the signs of activation look like and what can you do to support yourself. Read you can do some co-regulation or some self-regulation, and I will give a lot of tips on how to do that. But one very good tip that I can already give now is drinking some cold water, giving some cold water on the wrists, or taking a shower, and with the shower head really going through the different body parts and giving the body some sensation can support. And there's another challenge that can come up, and it's one of the biggest, is distractions. So sometimes we are thinking about our to-do list or about what we still need to do today. And it's really important that we are noticing it and letting it go again and focusing again on our body. And there you can use some simple somatic tools, like doing a body scan or focusing on the breath deep into your belly. But that is really one of the biggest. Especially take care to mute your phone. Our phones are also a really big distraction when we are doing some self-care and self-love. It might also be that you have some feeling of being bored or disinterested, and that's also really normal. And see if you can stay with it or let them go too, and refocus on what you are feeling in your body. In the practice, I will always say, feel into your body. And I recently noticed that's a bit of a term in my bubble that I am very used to, or I feel I know what I mean with it, but it's not so self-explanatory. So try to also describe what I mean by that. So Peter Levine, one of the authors of Walking with the Tiger or Healing Trauma, who developed somatic experiencing, describes it as the felt sense. In German, what I find a bit of a weird translation is the gefühlter Sinn. So meaning to look more inwards and notice your body and notice your body sensations. And there can be emotions tied to it, or ideas, images, but it's really looking inwards and focusing inside of you. Maybe afterwards I will do a little somatic guiding where you can maybe see how to access this felt sense. But yeah, this is something that will be quite important in the somatic practices, because we a lot work with that. So when I say somatic, maybe also it's just in the body. Soma is the body, and somatic is looking or working with the body. So just I give two different inspirations already, because it's not the first ones, but still just that you get a bit of an idea what might come. So one of the inspirations will be a self-loving mirror meditation, where you are taking 1 or 2 mirrors, a big one and a smaller one, and you can really look at yourself first as a whole, but also then going closer and closer and looking at yourself, but also then maybe looking at yourself while you are touching your genitals. This can really support in decreasing the shame and in the self-doubts and seeing one's beauty, and also, yeah, being very authentic and self-loving. Another self-love practice is, yeah, that will be quite at the beginning. It's doing sensual breaths, so working with your voice, with your breath, and doing a body scan, so feeling into your body, taking a moment to notice from your toe till your head, every body part, and yeah, feeling into and releasing some tension. Just looking if there's no questions. No, not yet. So yeah, if you're facing some challenges that need like more than, let's say, a 15 minutes call or a bit more, I also offer the one-on-one coaching online, but also in person in Vienna. And you can definitely reach out to me if you have questions about the pricing. But yeah, things like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I can still do that, or we can exchange some voice messages. And yeah, two more things that I wanted to give you already as an input as we start already tomorrow is from my sexocorporell training. It's translated from German, so that's why it doesn't really work out. But it's called the Trab model, and it's the idea that our sexuality is working with 4 DJ faders. So we can control our, wait, I have to drink, but T means tonus, our muscle tension, the tone, and the rhythm. So which rhythm are we taking when we self-pleasure or have shared sexuality? And A is standing for Atmung in German, but would be a B for breath. So how are we breathing? So very often when we are reaching a point of no return, like an orgasm, our breath is getting quicker and more in the chest. If we are more relaxed and breathing towards our belly, our genitals, it's a feeling of more relaxedness, or can also support in coming not in that moment. And then B standing for Bewegung in German, so movement. So how much movement are we doing? And depending on who we are and how we live our sexuality, it's for us easier or more difficult to move these different faders. And ideally, we can move them quite individually in our sexuality and yeah, move them so that we can have a pleasurable experience. And pleasurable is really different for every person. But sometimes, or at least, for example, for me, I struggle to be to work with my breath, or I have a lot of tension in my pelvic floor. So that are things that I can work on to more relax myself and spread the pleasure in my whole body. So that is a other model from Sexo Corporel, from my training at the ESP, and it shows the lust curves. It's a bit difficult. I try to translate it. So in German would be the genitale sexuelle Erregung, meaning the green curve is the genital lust, or the genital arousal, and the red is more on the sexuelles Lusterleben, meaning the sexual lust. And so very often when people are speaking about their experience, they are mixing these two curves together. But that can be very difficult, because especially for people who have a penis, it shows sometimes very easily, and so some people confuses I don't have lust with I don't have an erection. And to separate these two curves can really support oneself, because a lot of people stop in the moment where the erection is going because they think they don't have lust anymore. But very often there is lust. It's just the sexual, the genital arousal is going down. And that can also very often have cognitive ideas. So the blue curve that you see there is the head. What is the head doing in that moment? So very often we start quite high and then it can go down. And in Sexo Corporel, they differentiate between 4 or 5 different modis. It's a very broad, like, boxes to just put people in, while there's definitely mixed types and it's not that easy. But it can support oneself, or also a sexual therapist, to find exercises to support the person. I will try to do a more concrete video about that, but for me, it was a whole weekend of 4 days to understand that. So I'm not completely sure if I can, yet completely make it clear to you, especially not in this short time. But I will definitely do one video where I also present these different types of very broad types of arousal types. So I see a question: is sexual lust the same than sexual sex drive? I haven't yet found an English translation. I will definitely, when I'm doing the video, ask my teacher what is the English word, because the method is developed in French, and also the schools are German and Swiss. So I haven't found an English book yet about the Sexo Corporel method. But I will definitely get back on that. So as you would you be willing to share the page of the charts of arousal? Yeah, I can definitely post that afterwards in the group. I can also really recommend this book, The Orgasmic Woman, unfortunately also only in German. And there it's also the different modis and the different arousal curves in there. And they describe also very nicely 30 days of self-love, giving a lot of inspiration, but it's mainly for vulva owners. I mean, I think it's very useful for everyone, but they use the word vulva and it's made for women. Another book working more with the male autonomy, also based on Sexo Corporel, is Vom Leistungssex, but it's also German. I'm really sorry for the English speakers. Vom Leistungssex zum Liebesspiel klappt's. And there is also a lot of exercises on how to work with your pelvis and your pelvic floor. To the English books, I do also have some. Come As You Are. It's a very good book from Emil Nagoski. And that's the workbook from it. There's also really good videos from her or them that I can recommend on YouTube. But I will definitely do a resources part on the website where you can also find all these books. for people who, this is existing, I think, in English and in German, who struggle of having ideas how to touch themselves, I really like this book because it has really good images for how to touch a penis, a vulva. I really like, they also have an Instagram channel that I maybe can already post in there. So these are books to the topic. Maybe one last one. Frauenkörper neu gesehen is a very good book from Laura Merritt that has really good illustrations and text on sexual, on the anatomy of women, let's say. Unfortunately, I don't have so many books on male anatomy. I just noticed. So I'm almost done. Okay, that's not important anymore. I will stop the recording and see, is sexual lust the same like lust of sex on sex? Yes, I would say the one is the genital feeling of, or the genital reflex, and the other one is the lust on sexuality, and then there's the third curve that would represent the cognitive thoughts about it. And sometimes we can have lust on sexuality and still think about our grandma. That can sometimes really go apart. I don't know why I came on that example. I think it's because I recently learned that the tips on internet, for example, for people who are coming quite quickly, are really wrong. Like, and one of the tips was, think about your grandma so you don't come too quickly, or pinch your balls. And actually what would be very helpful is to breathe into the belly and more relax your muscles, because very often people that come very quickly have a lot of tension in their pelvis or tension in their thoughts to not ejaculate very quickly or have an orgasm quickly. So it can be helpful in these assignments to see, okay, what type am I? Do I have a lot of tension, or with what do I struggle in my sexuality, and then to adapt it a bit. That's why I will do this video about the sexual types quite quickly, so you can also see what can I maybe, depending on what are the things where I do want to work a bit more towards, how can I adapt that in my daily practice. So what would we do when we want to orgasm quicker? I'm reading a question, sorry. What do we do? What do we do if we orgasm quicker while we having self-love? So if you're orgasming quicker than you would like to, I really recommend to not touch your genitals directly, but more also try to include your whole body and see how this can include your arousal, and especially to refrain from porn. So I'm a person that also watches porn often, and in the self-love journey, I mean, I definitely don't want to say porn is bad, but it can really support to refrain from it and work more on a body-based arousal, so to gain the lust from your own body. Sometimes it can help if you kind of need a little quick start to maybe watch a very short clip to start it, but then really work with your own fantasy, with the own feeling that you get from your body. So I can really recommend to try to change whatever you are doing if you're not so happy with how you are experiencing self-love, or if you want to try out new things. So I have a new question. If I have an orgasm after, let's say, 15 minutes, should I continue with the practice or rest the rest of the half an hour? I don't know. I think I would then for the next day maybe try to make more body movements beforehand. So, but I would say staying 5 or 10 minutes with yourself and integrating that experience can be really good for your body. I don't think you need to stay the whole 15 minutes. But yeah, you can also try maybe how does my body feel after that, and retouching your whole body, and then going into these 5 minutes of conscious integration. So these 5 minutes really have shown how much that it really helps to make the whole body understand what just happened. So at least me, I used to masturbate and then very quickly go to the toilet or continue with what I had to do, because for me masturbation was just a release to be able to sleep or work better. And this is a bit the pattern that at least I will try to break, or that I always try to break when I do this more mindful practices. There will be, yeah, so the question is, will there be in these 30 days some pelvic floor muscle strengthening? So yeah, I will also give some examples about how to do that. But for example, I'm not such a big fan of Kegel exercises, because there is some humans who already have very tense pelvic floors. And so tensioning them up even more can actually not be supportive. But yeah, if you already work with that and that is working well for you, I definitely don't say that's bad. But yeah, I will also give some gentle pelvic floor exercises. One is the Beckenbodenschaukel, the pelvic swing. Let's see, I will find the English. As all my courses are in German, it's really difficult to find actually the right words in English, but I'm working on the translation. Yeah, so the pelvic floor swing. Thank you. That's yeah. So I think I'm almost at the end. I wanted to just show the different sex toys that I personally use, and then I will stop the recording, and there will be the possibility to ask more questions. So what all genders, let's say, can use, or all genitals, is some anal plugs. So it really, in my training, they recommended us to also explore our anus on ourselves, because the anus really has a relaxation power and can really ground us immensely, and also is a source of pleasure that very often, yeah, is associated with a lot of shame in our culture, but can be also detabooized. So yeah, different toys for the anus. There's also definitely bigger one. This is also possible to be used if you have a penis. It's a magic wand. There's definitely also cheaper versions. This is like this stronger one. There's some with a cable. They can also be nice. They used to be a massage thing for the whole body, so you can also use them on the body, but also in the genital area, or also on your pelvis. I am slightly addicted to the satisfiers, or how to say it? There's another brand that is more expensive. Womanizer. Yeah, you can try for people with a clitoris, but you can also put it on the top of a penis, on the gland, and try it out. But yeah, it has been designed for a clitoris. Some penis owners might know that. I just always struggle to open it, but that's a flashlight. So that can be used to, you can see I'm not, okay, that's the inside. Okay, yeah, fail. Yeah, here. So that's the flashlight, and that's a place where one person can insert the penis, and it can reproduce a feeling of being held by a vulva. or a vagina. And yeah, best to be used with lube, and it's very important to disinfect it and to clean it very well afterwards. There's special recommendations how to clean them. There's also one in this orgasmic yoga thing that I will post. There's a whole fleshlight assignment. You can see if you want to try that out. I will try to, in my inspirations, always make them so that they fit both genitals. But if you seek some more penis-oriented ones, in the ones of Joseph Kramer, there's also really a lot of fun assignments. So yeah, these are, I mean, otherwise there is some different dildos that can vibrate, that can be inserted in the anus or in the vulva, and also toys that are combining both, so the clitoris, touch, and also some vibration inside of the vagina or the anus. Yeah. On the other, maybe some more toys that I want to quickly show is more on the realms of sensation play. I really love to reuse some. I mean, I actually buy them new because I cannot use them from my house, but things to clean the dust or feathers, or how to say, other kitchen tools, like for example the spaghetti clam can be very nice to touch one's skin. So look in your house what you will find, what you can be used for your self-pleasure experiment. And maybe you might need to get a new one if it's something like the dust cleaner. But yeah, really try out different sensations. So there will also be definitely an inspiration of trying out different sensations. And yeah, be creative. You can already now start to look around what could be helpful. So yeah, I can also really recommend floggers. They make more intense sound than the level of pain. They can also be used very softly to stroke one's body. And massage balls to massage some tense fascian and muscles can also be really nice. I also really love to use some pencils. So you can use some more thick ones to wake up your body, or some like more fine ones. I actually got a whole set. So depending on how I want to touch myself, also there, if you use them on your genitals, maybe disinfect them or wash them afterwards. And maybe something that I always see and now also did wrong, but is to, when you're touching yourself, to do it really mindfully and look at what you're doing, if possible, or close your eyes, but then really focus and doing really mindfully with presence, and also really slow. So in my self-love classes, I sometimes really see people doing this and looking actually more around, and bring and give yourself the gift of presence, because that also will really enhance the touch and the pleasure that you get from it. Yeah, so I think that was my main starting inspirations for this 30 days. And yeah, remember, everything is an invitation. There is no need of pressure or performance. It's really for you and for your body, and it's a gift. And yeah, if anything is coming up or anything is activating you, what I write, I really welcome the feedback, and I'm I'm there for you on this journey. Yeah, I will stop the recording and then we can see